I call this regular meeting of the Public Site and Building Commission to order at 7:08. And the flag is over there still, so please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Public input, we don't have any public. So keeping on those correspondence, that's not part of what we are scheduled to discuss. Approval of meeting minutes. I make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes from the regular meeting of, would it be January 11th?
No, it's actually the 25th.
January 25th, that's what I thought.
So,
and I got a second from Dave. And the only thing I would say, which I think you need to check, is I think Durkin's a lieutenant.
Sergeant.
Yeah. So just check.
Am I
So-
voting him from?
I know. Anything else? Anybody input, changes, whatever? Good. All in favor? Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Does anybody need to abstain?
Nope, Dave Horvath.
Horvath
Bob
needs to
Giordano.
abstain. Dave Horvath needs to
wasn't here?
abstain. Okay.
Says you weren't here.
Oh.
Last meeting, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
you were here at the beginning of the month.
Abstain.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along, we're going to start with the municipal center renovation to the GP room lobby. Mark Schweitzer's on with us, and they're moving right along. They're, I don't know if Mark put up we said we were due once a month with the photos and all that kind of stuff, so we can wait till the next week. But they're really moving right along. If you want to give us kind of where they are right now.
Yep, I haven't been out there this week. I'm going to be out there tomorrow, but as of last Thursday when I was out on site, the floor tile was down in both women's and men's toilet rooms. The underlayment for the flooring in the family toilet room was going down. The wall tile in the women's toilet was being worked on when I was on site. But basically the grid is all up. It has been for a bit. The cuts are in. All the MEP above ceiling and in wall has passed. So they closed it all up and they are basically into finishes now. So once the wall tile goes up, they'll do the fixtures and the partitions. And then and the only other items then is the storefront front doors, and then the bluestone, replacing the bluestone in front of the front doors. And there was a question last week, but they are, after some consideration, they went back to just putting concrete in that front stoop.
Yep. And then what about the entry door to the GP room? Do you have any idea of when that's going to be?
I believe that's with the storefront for the front door.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, they are. We didn't go down there to check tonight, but we can go down next time if anybody wants to. Because they are, like I said, moving right along. You could hear them yesterday they were obviously had a wet saw running and they were doing tile, so they are moving right along.
Yeah, they should be. I was there on Thursday. I suspect they're done with all the floor. They're probably done with the floors in the family toilet room, and they're probably, if not done with the women's walls in the women's toilet, they're probably done with those and on their way to the men's toilet, if not started already.
Okay,
They had a crew of 4 tilers in there.
well, they're getting done. They're moving
Yep.
along, which is good. Any questions for Mark or any questions on the project, John or Dave? No. Okay. So the only other items we have are some invoices. So I found an invoice, a Collier's invoice in the mailbox. It's services rendered through end of January. I guess this is the newest one. You don't do the accounting part, so.
Yes, that should be the latest one.
Okay, all right. So the two we have is Colliers and for BMP, so I'll do the BMP one first. So this is their second application for payment, which they reviewed with Mark and made whatever adjustments they needed to make, so this is good to go. So I'll make a motion that we approve application for payment number 2 from BMP. That doesn't have dates on it, but well, it says period through
February 3rd.
beginning of February, so February 3rd, in the amount of $114,079.02.
Second.
Dave Olson seconds. Anybody have any questions on this? Like I said, Mark reviewed it and he's good with it. It's all been signed. It's good to go. All in favor? You don't get to vote on this.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Done. And then the Colliers invoice. All our projects should be this simple. I make a motion, we approve Colliers invoice number 0, a whole bunch of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 8, 1, 6, 8, 1, 9, dated, for services through the end of January 31, 2023, in the amount of $1,597.50.
Second.
Dave Wilson seconds. Any questions, et cetera, on this? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Done. So that's it. Thank you, Mark, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep, you too. So as I said, they are really moving along on this, which is great. They could be, hopefully, early spring, we'll be able to use the space, et cetera, which is a good thing. Next, we move along to Rockwell and Johnson Schools. So the closeout update, I am assuming you guys are moving along with all that paperwork, et cetera, et cetera. Does anybody, do you have anything you need?
I know I talked to Terry. I talked to Terry Yansky,
Okay.
and she was actively working on it with, I think, both Mark and Geraldine.
Yes.
Mostly Geraldine, but
Yeah. And I think what they just need is the final payment.
right.
And then, and I assume you have it tonight, Nancy, if I'm not wrong.
We did it last time.
You did? For both schools?
So the final payment for Johnson was done in October, I think.
Oh, so you did Rockwell last time.
Yes, so the Johnson one, which I'm pretty sure, I'll have to look at it, was in October, and it was a 0 balance to finish, so I'm assuming it was done. It was a payment. And
Okay.
It got paid. And then the Rockwell one was also 0 balance to finish, but there was no payment. It was actually a credit to the GMP.
Yeah.
$1,000, and that was approved at the last meeting. And I think it was, you filed it with finance. I think I signed it. It was
Yeah.
filed with finance. So
Okay. Go ahead, Mark.
Geraldine and Terry have been working together to make sure that all of the final invoices are accounted for, so that we can so Geraldine and Terry can finalize that. I expect that to be done this week.
Yeah, and Terry told me that I have to go one more time to the Board of Ed to accept the project as complete.
Right.
So they're going to do that on the 23rd. And then once that's done and I get the paperwork from both Geraldine and Terry, I'll file with the state.
okay. So then when I spoke with Vin earlier today, I wasn't sure, he was gonna see if he had a final, not final, but an updated budget for both schools, and then the cost thing that Geraldine had put together. But he wasn't sure if he had all the information, so I don't know if do you have that or not?
I have what I believe is current, but it has not been verified and fact checked between what Geraldine did previously and what I've been doing. But I do have all 3 documents that I posted in our Google room there.
Do you want to wait until you check to make sure it's complete to share it, or do you want to do it tonight, or what do you want to?
I can share it tonight with the group, or we can wait until we
Let's-
finalize everything.
Yeah, let's take a look at it and then we can look at the final one too. So I think Kathy already made you co-host so you could screen share.
All right. Okay. So this is what I have for the Rockwell tracking budget. You blow this up. Here we go. Get this out of the way. There you go.
So that should show, yeah, that we have, yeah, it says invoice expected, but I'm assuming that that's not. And that we should be kind of like pretty much done if.
I don't think the owner's project manager fee is updated, and I think that's because we have some other things that extended on that are technically under the same project, so
Right.
we should talk about how we break that out.
Mhm, okay. Yeah,
So this is everything that we have for this project.
okay,
And again, we do need to check it off. That was Rockwell. This is Johnson School.
and probably the same thing with,
It's the same thing. I'll verify everything here with Geraldine. I know she has my most current up-to-date budget. And I know she's got to be working from the most recent one, which would be this one.
yeah, yep. And there should still be a, somewhere in there contingency amount for Johnson that we have been carrying all along. I mean, it changes a little up, a little down, but it still should be substantial, so.
Yeah, I can work through her with that and we can get the serial updated and get it all correct.
Yep, okay. That'd be
And
good.
then the last one that I have is the combined cash flow.
Yep.
Which has pretty much remained unchanged because we haven't added anything to the contract. But as Mark said, we may have to still add the item, especially for the well, losing my train of thought here.
For the owner's project manager stuff, or are you talking
Yeah.
about the level spreader?
Yeah, the level spreader, the one that we just wrote, the level spreader, correct?
Yeah, we just need to break that out.
Right, that'll
So that-
show up in the budgets, but it's not something that should be part of the closeout that Terry.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right, Nancy. That's what we agreed, that we would break it out and keep it separate from the closeout paperwork for the project.
And that's why I probably have not updated this, because I remember that conversation.
Right, right. So, that part, so you'll see that tonight we don't have anyone from Rizzo or Perkins Eastman on, because I told them they didn't really need to be.
No,
Since we're pretty much done with Rizzo, if there's something that we need to do and have them as a part of the meeting, we'll let them know, they'll come in. But otherwise they shouldn't, and then moving over to, from the closeout, which is kind of happening internally, and we're kind of not really a part of it. The fixing the stormwater management part is still in process as far as the plans are complete. Were presented to inland wetlands. Inland wetlands, and I talked about this last time too. They're looking to have a better soil report from the area, because what was done initially as part of the project along the project line, which is just downhill tiny bit from the level spreader, isn't complete. So they have to do something, which they will do. James Mayo is working on that with a engineer. But inland wetlands wants to do a site walk, which they often do when they are brought something that they have to deal with, on Saturday. So I have to tell you all about it, because if you want to come, you can. So it's this Saturday at 11 o'clock behind Johnson School. Probably meet over in that corner by the swings. I'll go and walk around with them. They'll either on their own And then,
Are you gonna get in?
well, you can go through the gate. The gate's just open. You open up the
Okay.
gate and go down. Yeah, I've done it a bunch of times. It's not locked. So we don't go through the gate that you have locked. You just park up there and you walk back.
Yep.
And go through the gate, and then off we go. So they'll do that. They may flag some things because I've been walking other places recently where I see the pink wetland delineation flag. So they'll do some things. And then apparently they should deal with this at their next meeting. So we should have some kind of an answer at their next meeting, which I think is end of February. And then they should then create a situation where the process of then maybe having to go out to bid to get some, I think we should get a few quotes to look at who's going to do this. And the way the winter's been going, we might be able to do it now or soon, if it doesn't freeze and snow in the next month, which would be good. It would be good to get it done before spring, because you guys probably, spring is the ideal time to do it. We had talked about doing it in the fall. We had to get all this other stuff done first. Spring would be okay, but now would be great. So, as I said, anybody who wants to go wandering in the woods on a cold February Saturday, I don't know how cold it's going to be on Saturday, but 11 o'clock behind Johnson School. Let's look at what the temperature is going to be. It'll be brisk. It'll be 42 high, 27 low. That's not bad. Wear your warm clothes. So that's all I have on that stuff. I don't know, Mark or Vinny, if you've got anything else with that.
No, I don't. Vin, do you have anything? No,
I have nothing.
I don't think we have any invoices or anything.
Right. No, so I don't have any invoices for school projects. So the only ones I would have would be Perkins Eastman or STV.
Yeah,
Those were last time we get them.
yeah, we're out of sequence right now. We wouldn't be posting an invoice until
Right.
end of the month, probably.
Okay, so next time we can, if we have an updated budget and cash flow to look at, we'll do that. We will hopefully have, well, I don't know if we'll have to see if inland wetlands has met before our next meeting. Might have an answer on that. But the person who was doing, James had mentioned last time, Cynthia Rapinowitz, I think it is, who works for the company that's going to do the soil testing, et cetera, come up with the report, had done a walk around the area too, and was mentioning that what they want, because there's space, but there's not a lot of space between that area and the brook, not wanting to disrupt it. And doing the least disruptive process. And so before she went out there, she had some ideas of how it could be less disruptive. Once she got there, she realized the things that she was thinking of doing weren't gonna cut it, that there was still gonna be this erosion happening.
Right.
So she agrees with the approach that's being taken,
Did
which is
did we
good.
suffer any damage from the last rainstorm?
I haven't been out there. She must have been, because I'll show you a couple, or I can send them to you. A couple pictures. James has them if you want to ask
Oh,
James.
okay.
All
right.
She took a couple pictures and you could see that it's only gonna get worse. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think that's about it for schools, unless anybody else has anything. Good, Dr. Carver's gone, so we should be good with that. Okay. So,
Oh, you need me?
oh, Jen, I didn't know if you had anything.
No, we still haven't heard on the HVAC grant, and we're trying to get together tomorrow night to take a look at the bids that came in for
Right.
the ERU too, but that's it.
Well, the HVAC grant is new business, so I have to wait to do that. So if you wanna, we're gonna do some police station stuff first. But,
Okay.
Because when it was assigned to us by the Board of Selectmen, we weren't notified, so we didn't add it to our agenda, so it's become new business.
Okay,
We're gonna chat about that in a little bit.
okay, I'll stay.
Okay. All right, so moving on to the training range. We do have the memo that was sent out by Vin, who put together a little bit of a timeline and all the discussions we've been having recently. 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4, you can go. Okay.
All right, gotta go play fireman.
Okay.
Later.
Thank you,
See
Bob.
ya.
Thank you, thank you. So, discussion in the last meeting was about, primarily on the makeup air unit, that would be, that was being designed by Action Target and would be supplied by Action Target. So we've gotten a lot of answers, and, I think we can approve those tonight, and we can hopefully move forward. So Vin and or Mark, you want to jump in and give us a little?
Sure.
Just kind of.
Sure. Vin, interrupt me if I get anything wrong, but
Well,
Vin and I have been working hard to make sure that all of the issues that have been kind of plaguing us moving forward are resolved. And I think quite successfully they're all resolved as of about 4:30 this afternoon, when the the fire marshal acknowledged and agreed that one of the big issues we had was, is the firing range required by code to be fire sprinklered? Vin and I have been of the opinion for a while that it does require it. We communicated with Jakumski Humes, the architect, and Cole Ronan, the engineer, and they indicated that is their interpretation of the code and what they strongly recommend. And their preliminary earlier design shows that. So in further workings, we wanted to make sure the fire marshal was in agreement with that. And sure enough, as of today, he confirmed, yes, he agrees that that needs to be fire sprinkler. We need to provide fire protection in that space. And it has a lot to do with the size of the space, the location of the space, and the fact that in reality, early on, when this building was first built, they were given a variance because the space was going to be unoccupied. Now that the space has an occupied or will be occupied, it requires it based on one, its size, and two, its egress requirements. So we're happy about that, because what that tells us then definitively is that we need to condition the space when no one's in there. And based on the fact that the Action Target makeup air unit is only operable when the space is being used, we have to come up with a plan to condition the space to keep the pipes, assuming we have a wet system, keep the pipes from freezing, and also control humidity, because it's an large enclosed space that would certainly grab humidity from the air during the summer. And you don't want all the expensive Action Target components that you're buying to start rusting and having moisture problems. So Vin and I had spoken with the architect and engineer a couple of times in the last week, and we agreed that it would be relatively, I shouldn't say inexpensive, but relatively easy for them to modify their existing drawings, which were done before Action Target came on board, and provide drawings that would include probably wall-mounted electric heaters just to warm the space to keep it above 55, and potentially a rooftop unit or something of that nature to condition the space for humidity and an overall summer temperature control. So our plan is to request that we go ahead and purchase the Action Target makeup air unit as soon as possible, so that we can get the clock ticking, right? Because our goal is to get this space done as fast as possible. And the lead times that we're hearing from Action Target are 30 weeks, somewhere between 24 and 30 weeks. So we wanted to actually take our project and create a project schedule going from that date back, work with Downs and work with Jakumski Humes and Kohler Ronan to finalize and create an addendum for the HVAC drawings that could be bid, so that we get solid bids that give us everything we need for that space mechanically, electrically, and from a fire protection standpoint. Because our ultimate goal here is to make sure that when these drawings are bid, everything that we need is in them and there's no change orders later on. We want to keep our change orders to a minimum. So ultimately, it took us a little bit of time to get all of this stuff ironed out and in order. And the process of working with Action Target and getting contracted has certainly not been as efficient and effective as we had hoped.
Excuse me, but John, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was brought up back in the very beginning that we thought we needed to do dehumidification, possibly heating in the winter. And we were told, again, I could be wrong, but that the unit would have the hot gas bypass and reheat, that we would need to manage that.
Yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't.
So I'm gonna say that before we go rush into order anything tonight, we gotta get engaged with Aon now that we're getting the unit that we requested and find out from the manufacturer what its capabilities are.
Yes.
I find it very, very hard to believe that we couldn't use that existing unit, and I'm gonna say this in an unoccupied mode,
Yep.
not taking in any outside air, to use it for supplemental cooling and heating and or dehumidification. And we can't make a decision on the unit tonight. And I guess my other question is, before we can make a decision on the unit tonight, there was a list of options that I sent. And we need to know off of that list, what did Action Target include? And I'm asking STV this. We said that we were gonna get a submittal on what Action Target planned to carry on this project. We need to take that list of what they're supplying us, which we already know we got hot gas reheat. So we got one of the things that we wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to go down that list and X out which ones are included in the project. And then us as a committee has to look at what's not included and say what's most beneficial to the town / PD. Does that make sense to everybody?
So who would get together with, who's gonna do the,
So STV would reach out to Aon, right, Dave? Find out what they planned on including in on the project,
Correct.
and then obviously not give them our list, but STV taking that list and saying, okay, you have 15 items here, 3 of them were included in the initial project. And then after that, then we'd have to go to Aon and ask them, what are the costs of the other options that we want to consider? I'm gonna tell you personally that 5-year parts and labor is a necessity today. Equipment today is very high tech, a lot of solid state components in it. It's not like your average air conditioning anymore. That would be in the best interest, particularly that on this kind of equipment, you don't have a lot of runtime. So the unit stays newer longer. You want the warranty to be longer on it. That's just one example. There's other things in there. If it's an Aon unit, I believe they come with a 20-year heat exchanger warranty. It's as standard in their equipment. But we'd have to review the other things. There's the back net card, plug it into the automation system. There's, is hinge doors standard on it? Aon, I'm not as familiar with Aon as I am with the other 4 manufacturers. But we have to find that out before we can order the.
The Aon equipment I've dealt with in the past few years, John, that is standard I haven't had to order that extra, but times have changed, so let's find out. I agree.
Yeah, and then turn down is important. I don't know how they do, how Aon does it, do you have a choice of, and I'm being granular, if it's a 30-ton unit, I have two 15-ton compressors, or is it, I could buy that unit and put, 4 7.5s in it? Because that stuff matters, and that may be very beneficial for us to have that information because of using it and not having to add an additional unit to condition the space. And I would think, I could almost bet that we could shorten this up a little bit and be more than happy to get the Aon rep here one night and talk with us.
I don't know as we need the Aon rep here. I think that the plans that were put together by Action Target must have some of that information in it, or don't they?
Well, everything we have found and the direction we have.
I emailed them out last week.
Yeah, I didn't have time to go over everything.
Okay. Sorry, Mark or Vinny, whoever was talking.
It was me, but everything we have seen is that the unit that Action Target is suggesting is an on-off unit and is not designed to condition the space 24/7.
Okay.
And that is the dilemma. If we want that unit to do that, we're going to have to go back to Action Target and have them redesign it.
So what they're saying is that Daikin would?
No,
No unit's gonna do it.
well, units,
Because of the filtering.
yes. And because of what they were initially working with the police department on, just a makeup air unit. And that's what they went with. They went with what the police department told them to do. And it's in here, in their emails, they've basically said that we're doing what the police department told us to do. Puts us in a dilemma because we know there's also the right thing to do. And so the plans that Vinny sent out, Vinny, I don't know if you had anybody in your office review them basically it's, I think what we got last time with some tweaks in it to make it more Aon than Daikin so that we could get it ordered and get sooner because the Aon was supposed to have less lead time, at least 2 months. That's kind of where we are. And so what was written up and what you found in the discussions, Mark and Vinny, with Chikunski Humes and Kohler-Ronan, Fire Marshal, Action Target, this makeup air unit is going to be a makeup air unit. There'll be other ways needed to condition the space so that if we have a wet sprinkler system, it doesn't freeze. Even if we have a dry system, we still should condition the space, humidity, etc. There is a dry system there now in the overhang and some other parts of the building in the back there near the sprinkler or near the firing range, but is it adequate to also add that in? It's probably not. It would probably need to be in addition to the system or another system if it's dry. So in what we received from Chikunski Humes, basically saying in the systems that they've designed and seen installed in Connecticut, that they all have some kind of system in place that can also temperature control, humidity control, etc., the space.
So
except for Branford, which they're working with now because they have had an on-off system for years and they're having problems.
So
the original design that Kohler-Ronan put together for the project that was an alternate had the capability of supplying and doing what it needed for the range while they were in their training, but also had 24/7 temperature and humidity control. But when this unit was, it was an alternate, it was removed from the project and it was given the Action Target. And whatever discussions Action Target had with the police department is how we ended up with the unit that we have today, which is basically an on-off unit that only will run when the range is in operation, and it's controlled through Action Target's control panel. So that's kind of where we're at with all this right now.
Now, we've actually heard in prior meetings, the discussion of potentially having the Action Target unit, the Makeup Air unit, function fully. And we investigated that with Kohler Ronan, who said, no, that system is not going to be able to do that based on its setup. So honestly, you know, I'm an architect, I'm not an engineer, but when the guys from Kohler Ronan tell us that, we take it verbatim. And they're the engineer of record. And we did not have control in the past of the specification of that unit. So we're doing what our customers are telling us they want. So
I have a question.
Sure.
If we take the 2 storage rooms out of it, right? Because well, I won't call them storage rooms. The 2 rooms that have the splits, right? We're putting 2 splits in.
Correct.
We're only concerned about condition, the actual range.
Correct. Yes, the control room, the setup room, and I believe there's one more room behind it. Those are going to be, they're going to have what is needed for temperature and humidity.
Yeah. So what is the square footage of the actual range?
It's 90 by 40, I think, plus the height. I would have to take a look and see. But the
so
range is
I believe it's around just under 4,000 square feet.
Yeah, I think that's the number we had.
Yep.
Now, Kohler Ronan and JHA confirmed that that they can put a small rooftop unit on, and the roof has the capability of handling a small rooftop. It would be no ductwork; it would just basically penetrate the roof and provide temperature and humidity controls in the space when the range is not in use. That was one of their easy solutions to this. They mentioned that last Friday, Mark, if you remember.
Right, exactly.
And they really believe that's probably the simplest and easiest solution with this. Let the Action Target unit do what it's got to do. Let's put a small rooftop on the roof and let it do temperature, humidity in the space.
Do you have any idea what they mean by a smaller rooftop? I mean, I know it's not your field, but just capacity wise, 3 ton, 4 ton. It's not that big of a space. So I was just curious.
No, I think when we talked to them, they mentioned a 5-ton unit.
It was 5 ton, yeah.
That's still big for that with no heat load, but okay.
Yeah, and the thing is too, they were talking about keeping it when it's unoccupied, keeping the temperature low because it doesn't need to be 68 or 72. It could be 55 degrees, and if we run it at 55, then they can provide humidity control as well as an average temperature, so that when the space is occupied, it can come up to a normal temperature quickly.
Yeah,
so,
no, I'm with you. I'm just
so. I mean, really, we'd love to make the Action Target piece, the Makeup Air unit, handle everything, because that would be the easiest thing in the world. But for some reason, in the past, it has been dictated that it was an on-off system. And at this point in time, if we want to go and do that with Action Target, we're going to wind up paying them to redesign it, and it's going to be a further delay.
But if it was,
I hate to say it, but that's the way it is.
But if it was made to be not just an on-off system, because of the makeup air part and the filtration, et cetera, would the filtration have to be set up differently? Would you have to be changing the filters more frequently? anyways, or?
Yeah, you would because of the humidity and stuff. You could start growing mold in the filters and stuff like that. Depends on that.
Right.
And so I was asking to ask John, because I don't remember, John, we have that gas-fired unit in there already. Do you remember what the size of that, the tonnage of that was? Because it seemed to do all right with that building.
Yeah, I don't, but the where I think it's gonna get a little sticky,
Yep.
even though it's a 5-ton unit,
Hmm.
has to have a source of dehumidification.
Right, so it'll cycle. So my opinion is that's way too big. You want to dehumidify, you just want to run it in cooling. And for instance, when I installed the one in my house, when I put my own central air in, I put a 2-ton unit instead of a 3-ton unit. It runs a little longer, but my house is dry as all can be. So instead of putting in a 5-ton unit that, oh, it'll be on and off, that doesn't work. I've been doing this for 30 something years, just like you, John.
Well, so we might not need something that big. for
Right.
that.
Not for something, there's not gonna be any heat load. There's
Right.
not gonna be much of anything. So you want it to actually, you want it to run 35, 40, 50 minutes out of the hour and dehumidify naturally through the cooling, as opposed to turning on heat and trying to dehumidify that way and hot gas.
Sure.
Just something that can run and you're not gonna burn up that much energy.
So, yeah, which we can convey, since that's not really been specified yet, convey that to
Right.
Nicola Ronan. But with the makeup air unit, so the list of things that John was mentioning before, are they things that we know are included with the plans that they put out? Vinny, you sent them out on what, Thursday or Friday, I think?
Yes. Right after we got them.
And I looked at them, but it's all Greek to me. I'm not an engineer or HVAC person, so I was kind of relying on you guys and Dave and John to see if they could mute it and see them. So have you reviewed them to be able to answer John's questions on all the things he mentioned?
To do this best, I want to run that through Kohler Ronan. I think that's the right way to go with that. Vin's not an engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm a lowly architect, and Vin's a construction guy. So, and I don't want to bring anybody from STV on. It'll be too costly, and you've already got an agreement with Kohler Ronan. So let's add that to our task list, Vin, and we'll CC Mr. Perna on any results that we get from that, so that everyone will know where we are with that.
But then we're gonna have to probably have a special meeting to approve those plans, or can we approve them tonight? The submittal from for the makeup air unit. Okay.
Can't. Because somewhat, you gotta, when
You gotta
you
know.
order the unit.
Yeah,
You have to, if you order the unit, for like the extended warranty, it's half the cost to purchase it when you order the unit, than if you try to go back and tell
get it
them.
later
buy
on.
it.
So it's all stuff we want to know before we go ahead with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Correct. And I'd like to ask John to go back and review that list based on the fact that the unit is just going to be on and service the firing range. Because I believe, John, when you put the list together, you were looking at this unit as doing 24/7 temperature humidity control. So I think we need to back that out of your list and get the list down to the items that you would like to see added based on what the function of this unit is going to be. So if we could start there, that would help us out, so we're not searching for items that John may not determine is necessary now.
Because what were the things you were mentioning? You said warranty initially before, John, earlier when we started talking about this.
So I'm trying to find the list right now, but the things that are important is a unit typically comes with a 1-year warranty. I would say that it would be foolish if we didn't order it with a 5-year parts and labor warranty. We would want to order it with a backnet card.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, turn down ratio, for both natural gas and the mechanical cooling. That's important.
Now, if we find that the unit does not have a 5-year warranty, we can request that Action Target order that with a 5-year warranty. We just need to be ready if they come back with anything, any cost implication. Because again, we don't want to delay the unit any longer than what we need to back check what we are requiring and what we're looking to have.
So I think I have a list here, John.
I have it. I
Okay.
just got it. Yeah.
Parts and warranty, compression sound, condition fan sound, heat exchanger.
So I think we just got to take that check. We got to take this list. And STV netted out on what was included in Action Target. And then, what do we want to consider in options? I'm going to tell you that the extended warranty, I don't know, Dave, I don't know how you feel, extended warranty, I think is a necessity myself.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
Evaporator overflow pan, we wouldn't want the unit to constantly drain and back up and drain into and leak into the range, particularly that there's panels, I believe, on the ceiling and mechanical target.
Yeah, the clouds on the ceiling, you don't want those getting wet.
No.
We have to worry about sound attenuation. On compressors, that could be added if somebody complains about the noise. I will say that newer units, the compressors are a lot noisier than the old compressors, believe it or not, because it's a different type of technology.
They're DC scrolls, correct, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then hot gas reheat we already have. If we're going with the Aeon, it comes with 20 years heat exchanger warranty, which that's good. We don't need the flow rings. We don't need the barometric dampers. We don't need the exhaust option. We don't need CO2. We don't need enthalpy. And I'm not sure about MERV 13 filters. That would be a question for Cole Norman. So it's basically warranty options.
Yep.
Evaporator overflow alarm.
That's
Backnet part.
That's good on him.
You said about the hinge doors?
Dave told me they come automatically.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
That's it.
So 5-year warranty, overflow,
Let's just
alarm.
confirm the hinged doors just in case. But everything I've had has had hinged doors.
So warranties now, manufacturers they're offering, you get 5 years on the compressors automatically. But they do, like if you were buying a new car, that you get an extended warranty. They do them 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. So if they offered pricing for that, we'd want those three. And then the overflow pan for the cooling, and then backnet card and hinge doors. I think that covers it, right? And then turn down. So turn down is on heating and cooling. For the gas, it's what's called modulating gas valve. So it's not like the old days, just gas on, gas off. They actually modulate the gas for the heat. And then on the cooling, it's turned down on how little the unit tonnage you can go down to, I guess is the simplest way to put it.
So is it possible Mark and Vinny to get all this information together so we can have a special meeting next Wednesday and get this approved.
We'll reach out tomorrow and we'll talk with Coloradoan as well. And we'll reach out to Action Target and hopefully have an answer depending on when they respond to us by Monday. And then that will allow us to have a special meeting if we need to.
So if we would have to post the special meeting on Monday, right?
Right.
You're trying to do it on Monday?
No, if we do it on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, you'd have to post it the latest by Monday.
So we have to post it at the latest Monday to have a special meeting on Wednesday. I'm sure that the entire police department will watch this recording and I will get a phone call in the morning, as I usually do, with complaints. So I'll be expecting that. And we just need to keep moving on this.
Right.
And if we get all that information together and we're good to go, then we should,
So-
can we make a approval saying contingent upon? No, we'll wait.
I have to say this, if anybody calls and complains, I want to give credit to STV of getting us the Aon unit that we asked for in 2 weeks, okay? Which led to a quicker lead time on getting the equipment for the gun range.
Yeah.
Because without the unit, we don't have a gun range.
Great, I understand that.
So-
I understand all.
Yeah, so, but you didn't say that. I'm saying it, you're saying it, that they're gonna call and complain
They always
that we didn't prove it today. I'm gonna say, look at the positive side. We've increased the lead time.
Yeah.
And gave them a piece of equipment that's a better quality.
I agree with all that. I do. Doesn't always get seen. So the only other thing I have then is invoice, which we got more information on. This is basically for all, this is no equipment, it's from Action Target, none of the equipment, it's for all the design and planning. So I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Action Target invoice number 136185-1, dated January 10, 2023, for drawings for the Bethel Police Department training range in the amount of $205,095.00.
Second.
Olson seconds. So the questions on this last time were, what does it actually include? Is it just drawings or is there equipment here? No equipment, just drawings. We don't have any equipment yet. They won't put equipment on an invoice until we get it. Any other questions?
I do. I have a serious question.
Yeah,
To pay an invoice for 200,000 for drawings, I'm gonna tell you, for 150,000 square foot school to do mechanical drawings to replace all the top equipment is about 40 grand.
so this
So
is,
why are we giving them 200?
so this is for all the planning for the range equipment too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just the area.
How much is their total contract?
800.
And how much have we given them so far?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
I just say proceed with caution about approving any invoices after it's 200.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Done. So anything else that we need to, I think you can continue to, send whatever information you have to Jakunski Humes, Coloradoan, so that they can continue to move along with the planning. I mean, their plans are almost complete. They pretty much just need the rest of this from Action Target on the makeup area unit so they can complete what they have, and then we go start putting bid packages together.
So I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if, and it's a big if we decided to go with a supplemental unit, I'm gonna call it, a package rooftop to condition the space, what is that gonna entail cost-wise? I know right off the bat that a standard 10-ton DX, like a heat pump, is probably around 10 grand, 8 grand, 10 grand. But what does STV see, what's the wrap around it? Is Kohler Ronan gonna tack on some? Is Action Target gonna tack on some? We would need to know that, right? We would need to know a cost to add that to the project, right?
We will try to get all that information for next Wednesday for you.
Yeah, because
As we had, I had spoken with Nancy earlier in the week. I think Kohler Ronan will ask for some additional design money, but I don't think it'll be a lot. And because we've been tapping on those guys pretty hard the past couple of weeks to give us some further direction
I
with
think
regards to all of
job
this.
done. So I'm gonna say it again. You did a great job in a short period of time on the Aon, and that improved our lead time on equipment that's gonna get range done
Well,
quicker.
it's improved by like
Great
2
job.
months.
Well, thank you.
Improved
Thank
by
you, Mr. Brennan. We appreciate that.
Thanks.
So we would need something because like.
Yeah.
I'm talking the makeup air unit, we stubbed that out, I call it. So that's ready, the electrical's there and everything. Now we're putting a 5-ton unit. I know it's not a big unit, but now you gotta get electrical up on the roof.
Right.
You gotta cut a hole through those are panels, I believe.
They're
There's
concrete panels, yeah.
concrete panels. So we need the whole package.
Right. But we're going to need some details on that are going to need to go into the drawing. So that's ultimately JHA is going to ask us for some extra cash to do that. Which I honestly understand. And well, we'll just try to keep that to as little as possible and keep it to a minimum. And ultimately our goal is to get this project moving and get everything ordered so that we can start the process. And we understand the sense of urgency that the police department has, and we try to be sensitive to it. And we also appreciate the input that the committee gives us with regards to, their opinions on the HVAC and the function of it. Believe me, we understand. And our goal is to try to make everybody a happy client and a happy customer. So feel free to reach out to us if anything else comes up in your mind that you think of that you'd like to see. But at the same time, we're going to try and get everything we can specified and updated, and the information from Action Target as you had requested. And we'll talk to Kohler Ronan tomorrow. So we'll get that ball rolling in that aspect. So we will, hopefully on Wednesday of next week, we'll have all that information to you.
Great. So, like I said, if, by Monday, if we can get an agenda out, we can have a special meeting on the 15th,
Sure.
Wednesday, get it approved. It could be quick, boom, boom, done. And then anything else we need to flesh out could be done the following week, which is the 23rd. I think it's 23rd, 22nd. That's our next regular meeting. Okay, anything else?
Just, if you would just tell me again, what's the dimensions of just the range? It was 90 by what?
It's
40.
90 by 40, and then I don't know if it's like 12 or 15 feet high.
No, I think it's higher than that.
It could be. I might be thinking about the panels of 12 or 15 feet. I can pull the drawings up so we can take a look at it.
If I remember, it's like 70,000 cubic feet, if I remember correctly. Cubic feet, not square, but cubic.
Yeah, because we had to make the ceiling higher for
Right.
some specific range. And, we had to make it like, I don't know, what, 4 feet higher is what I'm remembering.
Right, but the good thing about a supplemental, it doesn't need to infiltrate the range. They can go flush mounted to the ceiling.
Right. That's the expectation.
And for
Yeah.
other people to do some checking, Vinny had sent out the Action Target revised HVAC documents last week, and then he sent them again on Monday. So look for an email if you haven't had a chance to review them and check them out. Then we'll go from there. Oh, there he is. He's got it right there.
Right here.
Excellent.
So it's 95 feet, and I believe, hold on, there is it's 21 feet this way. So it's 95 by 21.
21. Oh, good. That makes
Okay.
it
4, 8.
a lot less square footage.
Is it 21?
Yeah, it's 21 from here to here, wide, by
1,000 square feet.
94. Now the height is,
You get a section there somewhere?
21.
21?
Ah,
Look on the last drawing.
last drawing.
No. No,
There it is.
no.
so that would be 42,000 cubic feet if it was 21.
21 is the width.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Here it is.
14.
14 feet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
14 steps for the roof.
So I'm sorry, 1495.
14 steps.
14.5 feet high.
95 by 21, did you say?
21, I believe it was.
Okay. That's 28,000, a little over 28,000 square feet. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, that's not very big. I'm not even sure you'd need
Nope.
a 3-ton unit.
I was gonna say exactly the same thing I was just gonna say, Mark. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
They come up with some wall things that would
So-
show rooftop penetrations and.
We would want to, if we went with a 3-ton unit, we want DX cooling, back net card, and natural gas heat.
So let me just, John, let me just throw this one out at you. We're gonna do like 3 or 4 ton unit. Would you go for a split heat pump? What's your feeling on that?
We could. I'm just wondering if I don't know, it's a tough choice.
Yeah, it is. Listen,
Here's what I'm worried about. If we start going into the space, it's gonna increase them changing the drawings. Where
Yeah.
with a package rooftop, they're just cutting a hole and
Good
just dropping it in, you know? I don't know.
If they're
It's a
gonna
good
try,
question.
yeah, because if they try to start attaching stuff to the walls, does that make Action Target change their range
Yeah.
equipment,
That's
spacing,
the only
et
thing that
cetera?
Dave, I'm concerned about.
Yeah,
no, good, valid point, valid point.
But I'd like to, absolutely can't do it this week, but, maybe Monday, we could meet up and see if they'll let us in there. I'd like to see, to your point, what's the size of that furnace?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's figure that out. You and I can do that on the side.
yeah, you can arrange that through later, somebody to get in there and take a look. All right,
John,
good.
you mentioned back net card, DS cooling, and what was the third option?
DX cooling and natural gas heat.
Natural gas heat.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. So everybody's got their things they gotta do, and we're looking at a special meeting next week so we can keep moving along. So we should be good to go with this, right? For now, Appreciate John's attention to detail on this too, because where would we be without it?
Exactly. I agree.
I'd like to volunteer.
We would be in that. All right, so we're gonna move on to our final, which is new business, which once we do it now, it'll become old business. Which just requires Dave and Dave to stay on. I don't know if we need Vinny and Mark, but if you want to hear about it, you can stick around. So the high
Good night,
school,
all.
what's that?
Good night, all.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on, because originally Dr. Carver and Jen had asked us if we would help with the HVAC grant, so I'll stay on in case nobody wants.
Yeah, okay.
You want me to stay on, Mark?
No, I'm good, Vinny.
All right, thank you. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. So, as I said, when they, back in April, we got the report, but the Board of Ed decided with all the stuff that was going on with the HVAC system at the high school with this cut and paste system that they have, that they needed first to find out what do we need to do with everything, not just piecemeal. So they put out an RFP, ended up hiring Kohler Ronan to do a study. Kohler Ronan did their study, put the report out and said, these are all the things you need to do, step by step, phase by phase. And to start, there were a couple of things, and Jen can say what they are, that needed to be done immediately. And I think they consulted with a few people. They might have talked to you, John, and a few other people. I don't know if they called you in. So they already have some funding put aside. So like 1.5 million, 1.4 million, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's going to be done like right away, as soon as possible. Probably, well, you can't probably do it till school's closed, right?
Right. So, well, some of the money is spent on the design with Kohler Ronan. So, what we're looking to do quickly is replace the unit ERU2, which is the air handler science rooms, because that is down. And the board has funding for that. And we also have funding set aside to replace the unit AAX1, which is our oldest unit, and that one is starting to fail. I think three of the four compressors are down. And so we need to replace that as well.
Jen, we're getting a lot of feedback from you. I don't know if that's your
An echo.
it's like an echo. It's not feedback, it's an echo. I don't know if it's your microphone or wasn't doing it before when you talked.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to do about that.
That's weird. Well, we'll just have to persevere.
Okay.
So that's in place. And then around early fall, September-ish, we found out, the Board of Ed found out about possibility of a grant, which would be a matching type grant.
Mm-hmm.
And so that they started put together which parts could they deal with there. They got that together, and that was when they had to get the application in by December 1st. And on December 1st, when the Board of Selectmen did their whatever they had to do, and the Board of Finance did whatever they had to do, they also assigned this project to us because as part of the grant, so we don't have anything to do with the ER2 thing. That's like not us. But part of the grant was that if the grant funding is approved for the town of Bethel, for the Board of Ed, for this next phase of the HVAC project, it has to be supervised by a building committee. That's us. So the funding was approved. The funding had to be approved ahead of time. So it was approved at referendum back in January. And, or was that the one in December? I can't remember which. It was the December one.
Oh.
So it's already approved, but we're still waiting to hear, correct, on whether we actually get the grant.
Yes, and unfortunately, the only update we're getting is they're going to tell us soon. But there are some rumors that it might be the end of the month. So we're waiting on the grant funding. And the grant funding would be to add air conditioning to the 1975 first floor building, second and third floors.
So the meeting that's scheduled tomorrow, correct, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And did you get the email? Because they used.
I did.
Okay, good.
And I'm going to tell you, Dr. Carver called me and asked me to come to the meeting. I'm going to do my best. I already have a commitment. I'm going to do my best to come.
Is it a Google Meets or is it in person?
It's a Google Meet. Do you want us to reschedule? The reason why we picked Thursday is because that's the day where the town works later in the evening.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find the time that works for everybody, but if it doesn't work, we want your input. So if we need to move the meeting, we will.
Honestly, if they could push it to, Thursday of next week, I can't do Friday of next week, but I could do Thursday, it would be better for me.
Yeah, the town has a conflict next Thursday, so, is it possible to do something earlier in the day? Or do you need 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I can't during the day. I have this place down in Stanford that I go to.
I know.
My full-time job.
Well, so the situation, the reason they're looking to do Thursdays is that there's a bunch of other town employees that need to be a part of it, and they work late on Thursdays, they work till 6 on Thursdays. So, and there was something about, you were gonna do it next week, and then you changed it because somebody can't do next week, right?
Right, yes.
All
It
right,
was
But,
originally,
I'll ask Trish, who set up the meeting to try to find something that works for everybody.
okay. So you definitely can't do this Thursday tomorrow, right? You said. Yeah.
I'm gonna try, I'm gonna tell you I'm 50-50. Yeah, 50-50 for me.
Is that something
Okay.
you could check on and maybe let us know like tomorrow morning, or is it something that you still, like, you're still,
Yeah.
it's
And
gonna be up in the air?
I'm taking, to be honest, it's a kind of, I'm taking my daughter to a specialist doctor,
Okay,
and I don't know what
No,
I'm getting now.
yeah.
Yeah,
So don't worry about
I
it.
don't know it.
So you're gonna
I
send
think
out,
I think I'll make it, but it's,
You want it-
60% yes, but there's still a cloud of 40% no.
yeah. So Jen, I'll leave it up to you to see if you wanna try to change, or you wanna get started and then do another meeting, or.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll leave it on, and then we'll get started, and I can just summarize. If you're not able to make it, I'll just summarize what you missed, and then we can do another meeting with you.
Yeah. So, and if you jump in, great, if it's like, I mean, that's, if you're
Yeah.
doing doctor stuff, you gotta concentrate on that.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay. You can even sign in the middle of it and see if we're still there or something. All right, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Update, and I think that's pretty much it for tonight, and we don't have John Menti to say,
I will. Motion to adjourn.
Second,
John Perna seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we're done. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Nancy,
Good
Yeah.
night, everyone.
get up by 6 at the end of the first quarter.
Oh, yes, I saw that, because I've been checking my phone.
You saw